Hey, this is Brianna with Project 9. So I'm just gonna dive into this reading. So do I think art increases in value as it shows its history? I would say the value of a piece of art definitely changes, not that it necessarily increases. It could actually decrease over time. But yeah, but art in its original condition definitely has value because an artist put time and effort into making this piece of art. So the original and piece of art in its original condition does have value. But even Franco think that the value of art resides in like the history that art has created and like the story behind it. So they think by taking a piece of art from a museum, it's allowing the piece of art to exist outside the museum, therefore increasing its value because it has a greater story now. And yeah, and just with the concept of the original, Eva and Franco don't believe in the concept of the original. They think a piece of art, like the value in a piece of art is not in the actual piece and sitting in a museum behind glass. It's what that piece of art has accomplished, and like the system of everything that revolves around it. Like the Mona Lisa, people always mock the Mona Lisa and edit it. Yeah, and a piece of art can change value through history. Like when it's first created, it could be viewed as total trash, but 100 years later, it could be a masterpiece. Like you can't even put a price on it. Like Picasso pieces. When Picasso was first making his art, people were like, "What is this? This isn't art. Anybody could do this." But now it's like you can't even buy those. Like even if you had like all the money in the world, no one would give them up. Yeah, so that's what even Franco think about the concept of the original and the value of the piece of art. With Darko Maver's art, people thought Darko Maver was a real guy, and that this art he was creating was dummies that he created to make look really gruesome, and like everyone thought they were like, oh, these are dummies, whatever. But they look so real, but they're not real because he told us they're not real. But then Eva and Franco come out and they're like, hey, this guy Darko Maver actually doesn't exist, and these are actually pictures of real crime scenes. And what they were saying with that is that these horrible crime scenes happen and nobody knew about them because the media didn't cover it. So yeah, so just showing how we rely on the media so much, and if they don't cover something, then we're gonna have no idea that it ever happened. Like, you know about a guy that doesn't even exist, but you don't know about this gruesome crime scene that happened. So it was just showing people, because even Franco got these images off the computer. So if you look deep enough, you can find like real stories that the media is ignoring. You can't just always rely on the media. So that's what they were saying with Darko Maver. Or with the fake plaque that they put up in Italy. I guess the city in Italy, it was just relying on its history to get tourists there to make money and stuff. So they were relying, because I guess a lot of popes had lived there. So they were just saying how, so every single building had this plaque saying, oh, so-and-so lived here, so-and-so died here, or this happened here. So they were relying on all these plaques to make their city seem more interesting. But even Franco were like, wait, what about these buildings that don't have any plaques on them? So they made a plaque for this just ordinary building, nothing important ever happened there. And they put a plaque saying, hey, this is an ordinary building, nothing special ever happened here. And what they were saying is that these people can't just rely on things that had happened to form the history of their city. They have to go out and make the history, because history has to be written and it has to be made. You can't just rely on old history. So yeah, so that's what they were saying with the plaque. And they actually made on their own building, they put a plaque saying so and so lived here. But they actually didn't, and this art historian saw it and put it in a book. So now something that didn't even happen is now part of history because they made it that way. So just showing how people should go out there and make the history of their town, not rely on things that had already happened. Yeah, and with the it's always 6 o'clock, I was kind of confused about, but I think I got it. Eva and Franco used like Mickey Mouse and other little TV characters that people have idolized and have watched over their lifetimes, and it's become like part of their life. But these characters are like forced into this narrative, and people have just been like conformed to these movies to become like their value. So just kind of showing the characters like breaking out of their mold and like showing the dark side behind them when they're not like being conformed to this little storyline that they're put into. So yeah, so just saying how like how we shouldn't be part of like a cliche, like something that happens over and over again. Like we should be our own selves. Like we shouldn't be afraid of showing our dark side like the Disney characters. And we should rebel against conforming to society's expectations. Yeah, and with the United We Stand movie, the plotline is actually really interesting. It's interesting. It actually makes America seem bad because it seems like the plot shows America as being like this ignorant superpower who thinks that we can solve everything because we're so great. And then it's showing America making a pact with China that we're gonna go to war over nothing to see who's stronger or whatever. And Europe is like, hey, why can't we just coexist and solve out our problems without violence? So it's making Europe seem good because all the countries in Europe are always helping each other, and like with their welfare state, they take care of their poor, and they don't they don't exploit people for the benefit of their economy, and so they're always helping each other. So just basically this movie is making Europe look good and America and China look bad. And but they use it, but the way they want to produce it is that they're using a Hollywood filming. So so they're just showing how like Hollywood's all fake because they have to make something dramatic happen in the plot to make it seem more interesting. They're just kind of showing how Hollywood's kind of dumb in the way that they're writing, because they're all about getting people to watch the movie when these people didn't even make the movie, but they're still making a point because they're having the posters out there and stuff. So yeah, most of these projects were just about like no copyright, you can do whatever you want to a piece of artwork. The fake is more real. Just because it's not real doesn't mean it is. All that stuff. So yeah, hope you had fun watching this and grading the rest of these projects. Bye.